So let's just get right to it. We all know $7.25 is a starvation wage. Okay? And the $15 minimum wage is supported by almost 70% of the country. That's 2/3. 58 senators just voted against it.
Yes.
Today, the Senate is fundamentally opposed to democracy. 7 out of 10 people want something. 60, so 67% of the country wants it. 60% of the senators just voted against it. So just like we told you that Princeton study, that if you're in the bottom 80% of wage earners or rich people in America, you're what you want to see reflected in legislation never happens. Your desires, your will is never reflected in legislation. But if you're in the top 10% of rich people in America, whatever you want gets immediately reflected. Let's say if 10% of you want something, it'll get enacted 10% of the time. So if 67% of rich people wanted something, 67% of the time it would happen. So 7 out of 10 bills would get passed if that the rich people wanted. That's according to that Princeton study. It doesn't matter how many people who are under the 80 percentile earners want it. It could be 100% of them. It is never happening. And here they are who voted against it. There they are. You want to know what their names are? Here's their names. Well, I'll say that. Oh, this is the Chuck Schumer handpicked to run in Arizona, right? Sinema, right? Kristen, is that her name?
I think so.
So handpicked by Chuck Schumer. She voted against it. John Tester. He's you got to have him in the party. They always say you got to have guys like him in the party or else we'll lose. What? Coons. Oh, that motherfucker. Joe Manchin, of course. Shaheen, Hassan, Carper, and King. Chris Coons of Delaware, Angus King. This is what they're worth, by the way. Those people who just voted against it, you want to know what they're worth? Chris Coons is worth $10 million. Angus King is worth $9 million. Joe Manchin is worth $7 million. Tom Carper is worth $5 million. Janine Shaheen, $3.8 million, almost $4 million. John Tester, almost $4 million. Maggie Hassan, $3.5 million. Kristen Sinema, we don't know what she's worth. But she was handpicked by Chuck Schumer, just so you know. Senator Maggie Hassan wouldn't answer when I asked her why she voted against an effort to raise the wage to $15. I have long been supportive of increasing the minimum wage, she said. I asked her what was wrong with this one, and her aide interjected and said she's late for a meeting. You want to see her voting it down? Here it is. Here she is voting it down. There she is, handpicked by Chuck Schumer. Sorry. Workers in America have to starve. Workers. This isn't welfare. This is workers. And these are essential workers. These are the frontline workers. You guys talk essential? Here is Kristen Sinema. Look what the year is, 2014. Look what she was saying. A full-time minimum wage earner makes less than $16,000 a year. This one's a no-brainer. Tell Congress to raise the wage.
I guess she got her mind straight.
The Democratic Party changes you. You don't change the Democratic Party. And somebody should tell that to those motherfuckers who are still defending the Justice Democrats, who don't have the nads to call them out.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I have to say that I have heard that this is strategy.
This is strategy. The strategy of the Justice Democrats is, first of all, they make you be nice to them.
Yes, you got to be nice.
You got to be nice because they're allies.
Yes.
Because they're allies. Are there people still saying that? Are people still saying that they're our allies? That stupid fucking thing? Are they still saying they're our allies and we have to be nice to them? Are people still bullshitting people by saying that? Because that's not how politics works, and everybody fucking knows it, you liars. You got to be nice to them because they're our allies after they just abandoned us?
Jimmy, they have to get committee positions.
They got to get $15 minimum wage, or they got to get the committee positions, or they got to get the blah. But definitely don't treat the progressives, the people we actually have sway with, don't treat them like you would treat anyone else fucking abandoning you. Why? Because they're our allies? Who believes that shit? We found them. The 25 people who believe that shit. We found it yesterday. Watch yesterday's show. We found them. There's only 25 people. The Young Turks have 5 million subscribers. Only 25 people believe that. As a voter, the most important issue to me is bipartisanship. I'm not interested in policies that help me if they weren't developed in partnership with people who don't care if I live or die. Jamal Bowman, this is the real tweet. He says, it is despicable and unacceptable that there is not a unanimous support among Democrats in Congress for a $15 minimum wage. What's despicable, Jamal, is that you won't lift a fucking finger to make sure that happens. And this is bullshit. This is more bullshit. Because everyone knows, well, here, let's keep going. Here's Pramila Jayapal. Organizers have been fighting for a $15 minimum wage for nearly a decade. This isn't the end. I'm going to make sure we keep our promise and finally give every worker in America a livable wage. But I'm not going to actually use my leverage to make it happen. I'm not going to use my leverage to make it happen. Their leverage, Jimmy? Well, this is what they call a must-pass bill. So the COVID relief bill has to pass. And if Jamal Bowman and the rest of the squad withheld their vote on this, it couldn't pass because it got 0 Republican votes. So those aren't going to show up. So they have all the power, just like they had with forced to vote and Nancy Pelosi, and they won't do it. And they won't do it. And now the defenders are so what they're doing is they're making those people who defended them on forced to vote look like chumps. And you know why? Because they are. Eddie says, guess what? The House is going to approve the COVID relief bill without a $15 minimum wage increase, too. And progressives in Congress will continue tweeting about how someone should do something, even though 6 of them can stop it. Oh, my God, that's exactly what they're doing. They're all tweeting about how horrible it is, but they won't do it. They won't lift a fucking finger. Narcissist, megalomaniac, fucking climbers. Remember what Chris Hedges says. Politics attracts the most mediocre of people. How do people still follow progressive politicians on Twitter? All they do is complain how Republicans are the problem, and then they can't do anything because Republicans. It's Obama administration deja vu, except with lame Twitter platitudes. But now they have all the control. They have all the power. How can they yell at Republicans? They're going to find, oh no, the bad person now is the parliamentarian. Keep voting blue. Keep sending money to the Justice Democrats. Keep sending money to the Young Turks. Keep doing it, you fucking idiots. I feel like supporting progressives in Congress has become a televangelist scam. Yes. They don't actually do anything, but have successfully convinced people that they'll do something someday if people keep donating, reelecting them, and work to elect more progressives in Congress. Well, those are the kind of emails that the Young Turks were sending out. Said, give us money, and the Young Turks is going to make your COVID relief check happen. That's the televangelist shit the Young Turks does, and that's why they fit in so well with the Justice Democrats. Shama Sawant tweeted out, Joe Manchin and the corporate politicians have forced their priorities through. Why can't Bernie and the squad do the same for working people? If they demand $15 is in the COVID relief bill, working people and movements will back them up. We will organize in the streets until we win. Yeah, she knows that's not going to happen. I mean, she'll organize in the streets, but she knows that the squad and Bernie Sanders aren't going to fuck it.
They didn't care when there was a town hall with over 100,000 people. Nobody came to that. to listen to the voices. And I want to jump in and really quickly say, Jimmy, I was watching those progressive talking heads, and they kept saying, hey, you know what? AOC can't do it alone. She can't do it alone. What AOC needs is she needs workers and the labor force to support her.
So AOC needs a union somehow to make sure she withholds her vote? That's weird. So the next time the Democrats say vote blue no matter who, that's Dylan Cook saying that. That's next time you say vote blue no matter who. I did that in 2016. So I'm again ahead of the curve on that one. So I can't wait for the Young Turks to tell you to vote blue again. And all the people who support the Justice Democrats. I can't wait.
We're going to push them left.
So this is 2021. It's 1 year away. So I knew this moment was coming. You know, the moment where Cenk Uygur has to do a video of begging, telling the squad how much I love you. I'm lovingly trying to get you to do the right thing. I knew this moment was coming. I guess they did it. I guess Ryan Grimm didn't know it was coming. I guess Cenk didn't know it was coming. I know it was coming, and it's going to keep coming. Now Ryan Grimm is smearing the Green Party. That's his job. He runs interference for the Democratic Party. That's what The Intercept is, a fucking bullshit rag now. They're pro-censorship, pro-establishment, anti-progressive, and they defend politicians. That's The Intercept, and that's Ryan Grimm. Fantastic job, Ryan. And I'll guarantee you, any article he ever writes won't get 1/10 of the views of the video I'll do about it. Nothing will fundamentally change was the only Biden campaign promise fulfilled so far. Here's Robert Reich. It's been over 11.5 years since we raised the minimum wage to $7.25. That's the longest period without a raise in the history of the minimum wage. Democrats now control the White House, House, and Senate. If not now, when? I don't know, Robert. What the fuck do you think? I fear that if Joe Biden and Senate Democrats don't seize the moment to deliver systemic economic and democratic reforms, demagogues will come surging back to power. You think? Maybe if you would have withheld your vote from Hillary Clinton and told her you weren't going to vote for her in the spring of 2016, she would have became a better fucking candidate. But you didn't do that, did you? Just like the Young Turks and all the rest of the frickin' idiots, you didn't demand anything from your vote, so Hillary was allowed to be a horrible candidate and lose. Just like Joe Biden is allowed to be a horrible candidate and now win. How are you going to hold them accountable, Robert? You're not. He's another guy who sheep herds you into the Democratic Party and then does tweets like this for the next 4 fucking years. He's never going to make a demand on power to do anything. Keep voting blue. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.